Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to realestateinvestormba.com. At Real Estate Investor MBA, we strive to provide valuable information from various experts within the business and real estate community, covering real-time market and economic information as well as curriculum-level material within various real estate investing niches. We aim to be relevant, straightforward, and forthcoming with actionable information for our community. And here's your hosts, Tejas Gosai and Jeremy Moyer.
Hello, everyone. Welcome today. This is Real Estate Investor MBA. My name is Jeremy Moyer. This is Tejas Gosai over here. We have Tom Williams with us today. This is exciting. Tom's is an operation manager with Community and Economic Development at the City of Allentown. He's here to share some interesting information with what's going on in Allentown right now, and maybe in light of some stuff with all the COVID stuff. I know he's really busy, him and his team working through everything. So, Tom, can you just give us a brief history of kind of where you came from and what you're doing right now, and we'll kind of kick this thing off?
Sure, that sounds great. Thank you guys for having me very much. I'm looking forward to a good discussion today. So I've been with the city now for about 2.5 years in community and economic development. Prior to that, I've been in economic development for roughly 20 years. I started out in northeastern Pennsylvania at the Greater Wilkes-Barre Chamber of Business and Industry, doing business retention and economic development projects. We developed a lot of industrial parks and were instrumental in a lot of job creation projects up there in northeastern Pennsylvania. I also spent some time with a logistics company, as well as architecture, engineering, and environmental science. So been in and around real estate development for many years, and really believe that all of my experience has kind of allowed me to be successful in this role, and jumping in here with the city at just such an awesome, wonderful, exciting time in the history of Allentown. I'm so fortunate to be here.
I'm going to jump in. So, yes, you have a very difficult, I think, position, because everybody's looking at Allentown now. It's not like just New York and New Jersey, it's California, it's other people from outside of the country. And I mean, we're like blood suckers. The second the morning call or Don Cunningham or anybody puts something good out, I share that with all of my clients. And it's kind of difficult with the kind of national, agenda and things that are going on to cut through all of this to say, look, Allentown, this is the prime time for Allentown. You don't see it like we see it. It's magical what's happening. And it's tough to relate that. So, I mean, you must have a lot of, I can't imagine how many people that you have to communicate with and keep abreast with just the most, cutting edge, top end news.
Yes, it is challenging. It's an exciting challenge to kind of figure out, in today's world of social media, you can get to a certain amount of a certain segment of the population, and then there's the traditional news sources. So we've really tried to tell our story. When we have prospects in town or folks that are visiting Allentown, and maybe they haven't been here in 5 or 10 years, and we walk down the street, whether it's Hamilton Street or 7th or another part of the city, so many times, 99 out of 100 times, they say, wow, this isn't Allentown that I remember. This isn't the Billy Joel song anymore. This isn't what, the struggling Rust Belt city that I had remembered or envisioned that Allentown is. So a big part of what we try to do in community and economic development is tell the story of the city and tell people what's going on, entice them to come back, entice them to see what we have to offer and why we think we are such an asset to Pennsylvania, to the Lehigh Valley, and why we are on the upward trend, a dramatically upward trend, as other communities that may be just trying to hold their own and are kind of in a more stagnant position.
Absolutely. I mean, I grew up here. I remember going. My dad grew up down on Bryant Street. We went down there when I was young, and it's tremendous to see what has gone on and how everything is just improving. I mean, we have the neighborhood improvement zone, which is short for the NIZ. We have the waterfront project. We have opportunity zone in Allentown. We have the 2030 vision. I mean, there's so much that's going on. Like, Tom, can you just kind of dive into some of these? Like, these are all really exciting topics, and we could probably, if we dove into all these, we probably could be talking for 3 hours.
Yeah,
I know we have 30 minutes. So can you kind of just highlight some of the exciting things that you are, we're not in all these meetings, that you see what's going on, just to kind of, give everybody a taste of what to expect.
Well, you're right. We could spend a show on each of those topics that you brought up because, as we've talked about the city coming back and really being alive and arts and culture exploding and the business side of things, attracting world-class companies like ADP to locate a regional headquarters here. Those things don't happen with a silver bullet, and they don't happen by chance either. It's not by luck that you're just standing around and big companies show up and they want to be there. I mean, there's so many partners that make things like this come to reality. It's a complicated puzzle, and frankly, when you're putting the pieces together, which I'm not taking credit for at all, but when these pieces are being aligned and put together, you don't know if they're going to work. You don't know if they're going to have the effect that you're hoping for. The NIZ is a wonderfully powerful economic development tool. It is something that has spurred development in the city that I don't know if epic proportions is the right analogy, but just has really allowed significant development projects to occur. So when you think about the roughly 1 million square feet of office space that's been developed in Allentown in the past 5 years, 7 years at the most, I mean, that's unbelievable. A city of our size, I would challenge you to find another city, a medium-sized city like Allentown that has had 1 million square feet of new office space and a vacancy rate as low as we have. I mean, it's just incredible. And it is spurring on further development into the neighborhoods. It's creating additional residential needs. It's just been a wonderful tool that we hope more and more developers figure out how to use and how to figure out how to capture the benefits of the NIZ. One of the other wonderful components of the NIZ is there's a public improvement component. It's a little complicated on how the financing works, but basically there's a letter of credit that can pay for public improvements in the NIZ district. So those things may be like the parking authority used public improvement dollars to buy the parking kiosks, to automate, to remove the parking meters and now automate the parking situation, into the 20th century. We're doing streetscape improvements with the NIZ public improvement monies. We're going to be revamping the 7th and Hamilton intersection right there where the monument is and PPL Center. That was actually the first public improvement project that was approved. It's a lengthy process to redo an intersection, the focal intersection of Allentown like that one. It's a PennDOT roadway as well, which adds additional challenges. But it's just really exciting to see the city being redeveloped and having a focus on building a community. The NIZ is not designed just to build buildings. That's a primary component, but really folks that are participating in the NIZ are building community and building a place that people want to be in and has amenities that modern companies are looking for, to attract and retain talent to help keep their business competitive. So the NIS has been awesome. I'm trying to think of some of the other initiatives going on. Vision 2030. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was about to say that, and I'm going to pull it up. The Vision. I forgot the website. I'll pull it up though. Please continue. My bad.
Yeah, I believe it's AllentownVision2030.com. So that was our updated comprehensive plan, municipal comprehensive plan. A municipality is required to do it every 10 years. And so we set out to really dig deep into what the community wants, basically who we want to be when we grow up. The last time a comprehensive plan was done in the city, it was done internally. We made a concerted effort to hire some really strong consultants to help guide us through this process. That we really needed outside eyes and ears to help us objectively look at the city and tell us where we were on the mark, and tell us some things maybe we didn't realize about ourselves. So what you're looking at right there on the screen is the final plan over there on the right-hand side, and all the components of it, all the public interactions, all the meetings, the community survey. This was a 15-month process that was absolutely dynamic.
I can't imagine how much this stuff costs, how much logistical, plight you have to make something like this, let alone like a business owner or a realtor trying to make a website. Like, this is intense.
It is. We spent a significant amount of money because the administration, with the NIS, with the waterfront, with the energy that we had, this is the time, such a crucial point in the history of Allentown, that stars are aligning, and there's interest and activity. We have we have to do this right. We can't be stuck in the mud and waste an opportunity like we've had right here. So Vision 2030 was just a wonderful community outreach. We created a community engagement hub. We had a storefront just for the comprehensive plan. So if people wanted to walk in and talk and just get whatever was on their mind and express that to us, we manned that, I forget, 140 days out of the time that the comprehensive plan was going on. So that was great. As well as we had a community ambassador program. So we know that with our staff, we can't reach everybody we want to and need to. So the community ambassadors was just an extension of what the staff was doing and how we were reaching out into the community, and we had a meeting in a box. Basically, we created a kit where you could take this to your church or to your community group, gather the feedback, and then bring it back and have it incorporated into the plan. So we're really proud of what Allentown Vision 30 was, and where it's going to take us.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry to dominate. I like to talk sometimes.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeremy, if you have something.
Yeah, I am, again, I love asking these questions to our guests. Where we are right now, economically, politically, whatever, with the pandemic, I know a lot. I read the stories of what's going on in Easton and Bethlehem and Allentown, and Tom, you're ground zero with trying to keep this economy in kind of like in a bubble. Let's bubble around this so we can keep striving forward. What are you doing, and what is your team doing to minimize the impact and the blow that the pandemic has done within the city?
Yeah, so that's a challenging one. I mean, really, COVID has just disrupted so much of what we knew and what we thought was certain, 3-4 months ago. I mean, it just has turned everything upside down and made our lives, made our jobs here at the city very challenging. And so we're trying to listen closely to the community. We're trying to listen to the businesses and what they need and how we can try to help them. One of the things we implemented early on was a small business assistance program. So we provided grant funds. We had roughly $500,000 from the CARES Act, and we created a grant program for small businesses with less than $1 million in gross receipts, and they were up to $5,000 of assistance. We know that it still may not keep everybody in business, but hopefully it can pay a few bills. It can help that business get by for a little while longer until the economy gets restarted and they can start providing the product or service that they already do. So, we had an online application, and that application was we received close to 300 applications in like 6 hours, and we had to shut it off because we knew we couldn't fund that many. I think we funded somewhere around 125 businesses. We wish we could do more, and we wish there was more funding available. And frankly, reading the stories of what people were going through was just heartbreaking. And so we tried really hard to get this money on the street as quickly as we could. And it was I come from a small business background, and my family we had a small business when I was growing up. And so I can't imagine trying to have to go through what the restaurants and the retail establishments are trying to do right now. My heart goes out, and we're trying everything we can as a city to listen and try to be helpful.
Well, I
Sure.
see things that you're doing. For example, if I can pull this up on the screen, I don't know if you had anything to do with this stuff.
The real estate
They just released this, and I'm like,
cool.
I mean, you might not even know about this, but I'm looking at this, and it just came out on June 2nd. And, there's so much momentum that you and your colleagues have started in the past 3 weeks that, it's hard to say, because there's this Morning Call article, and then there's this other thing, and then, something else comes out. I shared this I have a 20,000 person mailing list. I sent this out, just hey guys, we're going to be okay, and we're insulated. And if you want to know what I mean by I believe the Valley is insulated, we can talk about it. But, here's some amazing things that are happening that are statistically, and this is math. Like, you can't lie about this $41.2 billion. And to put it in writing and really make it available is giving us legs, and
Right. Yes.
And the businesses need this type of stuff. And you're like our saviors at the end of the day. Like, if we don't have this, how do we pick up the next piece of business and things like that? So it's very cool for me to see it because I'm a news junkie. And, when there's something, I'm like, my God, this is so underutilized. I can send this to all of these other people. And now, over the past just even 5-6 days, I'm getting phone calls from investors that are like, okay, I waited, I'm ready. And I have the money, and I've been waiting since 2007 for the right thing to happen. Not to make, all of this about opportunity, but, there are people, the best marketing for the entire Lehigh Valley happened because of COVID. Before COVID, we had people flocking here. Now we have more people flocking here. And I don't want to take advantage of this, but I am from the Valley, and I live here. My kids live here, and I like it that things are becoming nicer, and it's cool. So it's just, I'm appreciative. I don't get to say thank you to somebody in a position like yours, but you guys are you're the heroes. You're doing it for us. And I don't know how you guys do more, but I'm excited to see what else happens in the next pieces. And, it's fun.
That's so great to hear. I'll just get my cape. Hold on one second, and I'll.
That's great.
Your compliments are so nice to hear. I'm not sure if the praise is in the right direction, because there are so many people that are making a difference in the Lehigh Valley. So that piece you just showed is put together by, I believe, by Mike Keller from LV Made Possible. And we love the stuff that he's doing and talking about and highlighting and promoting about the region. Again, the visuals are so important. We always try to have, when we're putting out content, to have great pictures. I can make a story out of any picture, any good picture around the city. So, I mean, it's so crucial, and your help in promoting what's going on in Lehigh Valley and spreading that word is so important. Again, you're part of the team too. It's all of us who are doing this together.
Well, thank you, but I do feel that way too. Like I do genuinely see that, because like, very funny, Luke Jandal just called me, gets the name drop, but yeah, it is a fun community. Like, I've only been in this area. I moved here because my wife's family is from here, and they're a little bit older than my folks, so I didn't know what to expect, but the amount of activity is unheard of. And so for me, just my opinion that I'll throw out there is, I do feel like the Valley is insulated, and from a real estate perspective, I don't see an off season happening the rest of this year, any of next year, and I think it will go into the winter of the following year, because I know clients and people, for example, in 2018 and 19 that lost out on homes from New Jersey that have 800 credit scores. They should have won that property, but the only reason they didn't is because it was a contingent offer. So there are droves of people that I know that sold their houses last year, moved in with their parents so that their offers would be accepted in this season. And they didn't have an opportunity to gun after it yet. And now it's insane. It's horrible what's happening. You cannot buy a house. There's like 20, 30 offers on this stuff, post-COVID, in the middle of madness. So, I see this stuff, and I know it's only going to continue. I'm like very wholeheartedly putting my faith in, and I say Don Cunningham a lot, but I love that guy, but to see every piece that comes out, the next pieces in the news channels, it is wonderful. So I'm like all in, and I'm not scared, and I can publicly say that, but I am a little bit intimidated by how the rest of the world is playing out, because we are in a bubble, and it's weird to be in a bubble.
Yeah, that's true. It's while our economy, kind of, so much of what we do is inside Lehigh Valley, but when things nearby to us go south, there are going to be some bumps that we're going to hit along the way as well. But what we've been talking about is building a resilient community and finding ways to make sure that we can lessen those valleys and take advantage, raise the peaks as much as we can, but without going through, just a dramatic roller coaster. So we feel like we're making progress, and we're getting there. And our department in community and economic development, and really the city administration, we're trying to branch out, to build partnerships and build relationships, and find ways to all really work together. It's a new day in Allentown, and we're trying to be an inclusive city and welcome new residents and welcome new businesses, and just be a welcoming place.
I'll ask one last kind of, we're getting closer to the time limit, but how much does your group, or how much do you work with Bethlehem and Easton, similar groups? I'm sure there are some parallels here and there, but you guys are the big dogs, right? Allentown, and I'm sure Bethlehem and Easton are kind of modeling some things after you guys.
Frankly, we all model things after each other. I mean, Allentown is not the big dog, although we have a larger population than the other cities, but really, I don't think we'd be successful as we are without Bethlehem or Easton, and I don't think they would be without us either. I personally try not to compare us to Bethlehem or Easton, because we're different. Because Easton is a different set of parameters and a different population and a different location, and Bethlehem has their charm, and the music and Southside and all the stuff that Bethlehem does, and Allentown's different. And I think sometimes folks in the community it's easy to try to compare the cities, but I don't think that's a productive discussion to have. I don't believe our city is in competition with Bethlehem, because if they struggle, that we're going to struggle in some of the same ways. So to your question about how we work together and communicate, we work together on certain projects. We don't communicate as much as we should, or maybe as we need to, because I think we do need to be better aligned on, how Allentown can leverage off of Music Fest, and how, Bethlehem can leverage off of the Great Allentown Fair. I mean, there's so many things where, whether it's hotels or people coming to the Valley for certain events, I mean, those things, people coming are not just staying in Bethlehem when they come to Music Fest. They're not just staying in Allentown when they come to an event here, or Blues, Brews, and Barbecues, or whatever it might be. I mean, we need to work together more, and we get to, different projects, whether we collaborate on blight remediation sometimes, or some different programs. There's been more sharing that's been going on lately. But we're also honestly and frankly repairing bridges, repairing partnerships that were strained kind of over the years.
Sure, that's awesome.
So Tom, if any listener was interested in like doing any type of, they had an idea on like a public-private partnership with the City of Allentown, like what would be the best avenue for them to I guess look into that with the city?
Yeah, that would be really through our department here in Community and Economic Development. So by reaching out to myself, or our director, Leonard Leitner, or Dan Diaz, who's our business development manager here at the city. And allentownpa.gov is the city's website, and you can find the Community and Economic Development page on there, which has all of our contact information. So, I mean, that's really the first place to get started, and then we can figure out whether it's a planning, something the planning director should be involved, or we talk in public works, or kind of where the ship needs to be steered from there. But public-private partnerships are crucial to making improvements. I mean, neighborhood revitalization can't take place without public-private partnerships. Blight remediation that we're doing right now, and we're really proud of the blighted properties and homes that we're getting back on the tax rolls, and providing amazing new homes for families in the city. And frankly, when we're selling them, we're just about breaking even, which is where we need to be because of the strong real estate market. So things like that, and there's a lot of talk about the housing situation in Allentown, and whether we need more affordable housing. And if you dive into Vision 2030, you'll see some discussion on some opportunities to deal with some of the the housing issues. But we believe that we have the challenges in housing are more related to quality than quantity, and we have to find ways to incentivize investors and have folks take better care of their properties, and try to upgrade the quality that's out there. And I know it's not easy. I know that the challenges, whether it's from the tenants that are generally renting, and if they're taking good care of it. We also know there's lead paint, and there's a lot of issues that are expensive to deal with as an investor. But every housing rehab out there can't be subsidized. There's just not enough money and resources out there in the world to provide all that. So we're trying to find ways to help folks like you, reinvest in properties and try to upgrade the quality that's out there, because the health of our community is really important. The health and safety of the residents that are all out there. So,
absolutely.
Awesome. We are running out of time, and
it's so much to talk about.
We got to have you back in the future, if that's okay.
There you go.
But Jeremy, my last fun follow-up question is, and you got to pick one. What's your favorite restaurant in the Valley?
Oh.
No one likes it.
That's like choosing your favorite child. It's really difficult.
You have one, but
I really don't know if I can pick the favorite restaurant. I'm exploring. So, you turn around another corner in Allentown and you find another school out there. So I know the directive is to answer the question, but I can't answer the question.
Okay, we'll go with Bethlehem Brewers.
Wait a minute.
I'm kidding, because it's in Bethlehem. Yeah.
The Allentown Fagley Brew Works is fantastic. That's a great place. Love it.
No, I think it is hard. You're the only one. We'll let you go. You're the only one who hasn't answered it. But it's been great. That's a big thing about our community too. My wife's a foodie and has like 500 reviews on Yelp. Like, our community is really becoming a miniature New York City from my perspective. And there's people from New York City every day, every hour hunting in the community. So it's really wonderful. Tom, thank you so much. You are full of knowledge, and thank you for sharing. We will have you on in the future if that's okay.
I would love to. I would love to talk real estate. I've always been interested, in how communities are built and frankly, where buildings come from and why streets are named, Hamilton Street. Where did that come from? There's a story behind every block and every building and every street and every town. And I think it's fascinating. And I love the work that you guys are doing and putting together this podcast, and love to participate again in the future. It's great stuff.
Awesome. And thank you again so much. So that is, sorry. I just lost you guys. My bad. That's Tom Williams, Operations Manager, City of Allentown, and we've been talking about some of the developments. We're going to have a bunch of the links that I just shared in here so you can check it out, see what Allentown is doing. And that's my co-host, Jeremy Moyer. Thank you so much for being here. We'll check you out next time. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.